Water is at the core of sustainable development and critical for the economy, food production, healthy ecosystems, and for human survival itself. Water is also at the heart of adaptation to climate change. Today we are prone to droughts as well as floods, with climate change causing unpredictable and extreme weather patterns. And as our population grows, there is an increasing need to balance all of the competing commercial demands on water resources so that communities have enough for their needs. Over 80% of the rural and urban domestic water supplies in India are served by groundwater. 255 districts and 1,597 blocks across the country have been identified by the Ministry of Jal Shakti as water-stressed. Committed to the cause of the marginalized and underprivileged since 1996, the Adani Foundation, social welfare and development arm of the Adani Group, has implemented drinking water projects and construction of water harvesting structures across India to store not just surface water, but to also recharge groundwater. From the parched regions of Kutch in Gujarat to the interiors of water-scarce Tiroda in Maharashtra, the Adani Foundation has been working on water conservation for nearly 3 decades. It has implemented groundwater augmentation, like rooftop rainwater harvesting, pond deepening, and borewell recharge. The Adani Foundation's water conservation projects span 12 states, touching lives of nearly 2 lakh people, catering to over 28,000 acres of land. More valuable than gold, water is what matters the most in the desert. Rajasthan has districts that are among the driest regions in India, with some areas receiving as little rain in a year as others do in a single day. Around 50 kilometers from Jaisalmer's Rasala village on the border of the Great Thar are 2 water points adjacent to the Degrai temple, Degrai Pond and Sabdasar Pond. Cattle, sheep, goats and camels flock to these ponds, a lifeline in the dry and arid landscape. This embankment was strengthened and the water body desilted. It's now a favorite water hole that ensures drinking water for nearly 10,000 desert animals, benefiting up to 7 villages. This is just one example of the water harvesting initiatives undertaken by the Adani Foundation in villages in and around Barmer and Jaisalmer, where 37 ponds have been repaired and deepened. The initiative works in 2 ways: by desilting the already existing sources of water, like ponds, and deepening water bodies to increase their capacity. In the desert, where rains are erratic and there are frequent droughts, farmers survive on the wealth of their livestock. Water bodies in the desert landscape store valuable rainwater for animals to survive, thus playing a very important role in the economy of the desert.
जल है तो जीवन है। हमारी पहली प्राथमिकता होती है वो जल ही होता है। तो इससे यहाँ के स्थानीय पशुपालक है, इनको मूल तौर से तो ऊँटों पे इनका बहुत फोकस रहा है। ऊँटों के लिए पानी की बहुत उनको भरपूर आवश्यकता रहती है। वो एक बार पी लेते हैं तो 7-7 दिन उनके लिए निकल जाता है। लेकिन यहाँ हमारे यहाँ पानी बहुत किल्लत थी। अब जैसे मौसम परिवर्तन हुआ, बरसातें हुई, तालाब पहले सूख रहे थे। कंपनियां अडानी फाउंडेशन थी, इन्होंने उसकी सुध ली, इनकी खुदाई की, जल स्तर भी बढ़ रहा है और हमारे को पीने योग्य पानी और पशुओं के लिए भी पानी भरपूर मात्रा में मिल रहा है।
मारे गांव में 40,000 है, मारे खन 200 गए। परेशानी घनी हुई थी, मौसी मरी घनी पौनी वास्ते। पौनी हतो नहीं नेड़ो, तालाब पौनी होता नहीं, खोदे हुआ नहीं था। अच्छा, हमें खोदने बाद में अच्छी हुई है, पौनी बहुत खूब है, पीने के लिए अच्छी सुविधा है।
The Adani Foundation's initiatives ensure that most water bodies in these areas don't dry up and have water all year round. This also helps the biodiversity of the desert, with different breeds of birds and smaller animals thriving.
अडानी फाउंडेशन ने यहाँ सीएसआर बजट से तालाबों का क्षेत्र में खूब विकास किया है। देख रहा है तालाब है, इस तालाब की अभी गहराई की खुदाई की है और 4 दीवारी का किया है। मंदिर में बहुत बड़ी 4 दीवारी की है, सपोर्ट मिला है। और यहाँ ये जो तालाब का भराव है तो ये पानी लगभग जून जुलाई तक, इसका मतलब पूरे साल तक इसको रहता है। पुराने ज़माने में इतने संसाधन नहीं हुआ करते थे और हमारे पूर्वज इसमें क्या करते थे, पहले तालाब, बावड़ी, पायतान, इसके ऊपर विशेष पूरे ग्रामीणों का वो रहता था और उसके ऊपर पूरी देखरेख करते थे। और कहते हैं हमारे संस्कृति के अंदर, वैदिक पुराणों में भी ये है कि एक तालाब का निर्माण कराओ सरोवर का, और चाहे 100 वर्षों में एक यज्ञ कराओ, उसके बराबर पुण्य होता था। चाहे 2 साल तक भी अकाल पड़े तो इस तालाब का पानी अब खत्म नहीं होगा।
On the way to Barmer from Jaisalmer is another core area that the Adani Foundation has earmarked for its water conservation efforts. Adani Foundation surveys water bodies that need to be deepened and repaired. The team meets with the Panchayat of village elders who explain the local dynamics, and that's when the groundwork begins.
मैंने सरपंच के नाते अडानी फाउंडेशन से जो है निवेदन किया इस नेतेरी तालाब की सफाई के लिए, तो उन्होंने जो है मेरी बात मान करके और उन्होंने जो है यहाँ पर जो है खुदाई और सफाई करवाई। ये प्राचीन समय में जो है बहुत ही प्राचीन जलाशय है। पहले लोगों में जो है घी मिल जाता था लेकिन पानी नहीं मिलता था, मतलब जो है इतनी यहाँ पर किल्लत थी। और यहाँ पर जो है क्योंकि 10-12 गांव के लोग जो कि पशु पक्षी यहाँ आके पानी पीते हैं। पहले पानी जो है बिल्कुल ही जो है कम दिन 1 महीने तक या कम पानी रहता था, लेकिन जब इन्होंने अडानी फाउंडेशन ने खुदाई की उसके बाद के अंदर जो है आज 12 मासों पानी रहता है, तालाब भरा हुआ है।
वेस्टर्न राजस्थान जो अपनी खूबसूरती और कठिन जलवायु के लिए, कठिन रेगिस्तानी जलवायु के लिए जाना जाता है, वहाँ पर पानी की भारी कमी है। सालाना औसतन 300 मिलीमीटर की बारिश हो रही है और वहाँ पर हर एक बूंद को संजोना अनिवार्य है। ऐसे में अदानी फाउंडेशन ने हर एक गांव में तालाबों के निर्माण करने का या एग्जिस्टिंग जो तालाब है उस तालाबों की खुदाई करने के लिए अपना एक बीड़ा उठाया है। और उसी के तहत काम करते हुए हम आज लगभग 37 तालाब का हमने खुदाई करी है और 2,66,000 क्यूबिक मीटर से भी ज़्यादा तालाबों की कैपेसिटी बढ़ाई है, जो कि काफ़ी यहाँ के लोगों के लिए काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट है। हम लोग ये काम जो कर रहे हैं, ये जो पानी कंजर्वेशन का काम कर रहे हैं, ये क्यों ज़रूरी है? क्योंकि यहाँ पर नदियाँ नहीं है, यहाँ पर जो स्थायी नदी कोई नहीं है और ऐसे में पानी या तो इवोपरेट हो जाता है या फिर रेगिस्तानी ज़मीन में चला जाता है। और उसी के कारण से अदानी फाउंडेशन जो ये काम कर रही है और इसी काम को हम आगे बढ़ाते हुए अगले इस साल में भी कम से कम 1 लाख क्यूबिक मीटर की और वाटर कंजर्वेशन हम करने जा रहे हैं।
Kaimor, a vital industrial block in Madhya Pradesh's Katni district. It has long been renowned for its high-quality limestone and the century-old ACC cement plant, now under Adani Cement. But beneath this industrial facade lies a grave challenge: alarming declines in the groundwater levels. Villages are located on the low-lying areas of Kaimor Hills. The steep slopes in the area cause rainwater to flow off rapidly, rather than being absorbed into the soil. It does not only lead to insufficient moisture retention for plant growth, but also accelerates the removal of topsoil. which is vital for maintaining soil fertility. The lack of water retention coupled with ongoing soil erosion poses severe risks to both environment and the livelihoods of the communities relying on the land. For years, communities here faced a stark reality. The once thriving villages turned into arid landscapes. Water tankers became the only lifeline, often sparking conflicts as families fought over limited water resources. Recognizing the urgent need, the Adani Foundation stepped forward with a bold vision of a long-term development plan focused on water conservation. Through innovative initiatives of ridge-to-valley watershed work by constructing loose boulder structures, gabions, gully plug, sunken boxes, check dams, and the rejuvenation of ancient ponds with inlet and outlet, the foundation has begun to turn the tide. Altogether, a total of 5,53,908.28 cubic meter additional water storage capacity has been created through various water conservation structures. Salaiya Kohari, a village with population of 1,110. Just a few years ago, their tube wells had dried up, water levels plummeting to 150 to 200 feet. Thanks to the Adani Foundation vision of constructing a check dam on natural stream and desiltation of community pond work that has increased the groundwater levels surged to 30 to 40 feet.
अब ये चेक डैम बनने से पानी का रुकाव हो रहा है। आसपास के खेतों में जो बोर हैं, अपने कुआं हैं, उनको पहले कुआं का पानी सूख जाता रहा। अब इसके बनने से कुआं का पानी अटल बढ़ रहा है। इससे बढ़ रहा था, हम किसानों को बहुत फायदा हो रहा है। जो किसान आज हमारे जो आजू बाजू जमीन बंजर पड़ी रहती रही, इसके बनने से हमारे जो खेत की ज़मीन है वो नमी में आ गई है।
हमारे यहाँ वाटर लेवल इतना कम था, गर्मियों में हम टैंकर से पानी सप्लाई करते थे पूरे गांव में। आज हमको ऐसा लग रहा है कि आने वाले समय में हमको टैंकर की जरूरत नहीं होगी।
In Salaiya Kohari, 3,220 locals are now getting benefits from a desilted pond, ensuring access to water for farming, livestock, domestic uses. The water that once fell to over 200 feet now stabilizes at a manageable level, bringing optimism back to the community. In Badari, a once drying pond has seen its storage capacity increase to 6,295 cubic meters, providing a steady supply of water for crops and livestock essential for sustaining life here. In Rajadwara number 2, the impact is equally profound. An increase of 23,448 from 7,848 cubic meters in water storage has rejuvenated bowells, wells and hand pumps, benefiting 42 families who now have reliable access to water. In Nanhavara Kala, a lifeline once prone to dying up has been deepened, ensuring year-round water access. This pond has now the ability to nourish 450 acres of agricultural land, supports livestock and sustains fish farming families, restored hope and transformed lives. The Adani Foundation is not just building structures, it is reviving communities and cultivating a future where water is no longer a source of conflict, but a foundation for growth and prosperity. Kutch, the largest district of India, spread across 45,652 square kilometers, is part of the country's western tip. It lacks perennial rivers and experiences irregular rainfall. The region also faces extreme temperature variations, ranging from 40 degrees Celsius to 48 degrees Celsius in the summer, and as low as 1 degree Celsius during the winter. This combination of erratic rainfall and temperature extremes further complicates the water situation here, resulting in deteriorating land quality, waterborne diseases, suboptimal use of agricultural land, and even distressed migration. To combat this, the Adani Foundation has been working on construction of check dams, deepening of ponds, borewell recharge, rooftop water harvesting, drip irrigation and percolation wells. The Adani Foundation has been working almost since its inception in across 6 talukas of Kutch region, covering 81 villages with multifaceted approaches. The foundation constructed 18 check dams in Mundra between 2009 and 2013, leading to an increased storage capacity of 505 million litres, benefiting over 12,000 farmers in 40 villages. 330 rooftop rainwater harvesting systems in saline belt have been installed to make households self-reliant in drinking water. In addition, over 72 ponds were deepened, creating additional storage capacity that helps over 1.5 lakh people. In Kuran village, women had to walk 3 to 4 kilometers every day to collect water from faraway ponds. The Adani Foundation decided to find a solution. Their research revealed that rainwater has been seeping into the ground for years. They decided to dig a special well called a percolation well in a spot where water naturally gathered underground. The digging began and the villagers washed with hope. Finally, at 50 feet, they found clean, drinkable water. This was a huge relief for the people of Kuran. The water wasn't salty like they had feared. It was fresh and safe to drink. The women of the village no longer had to walk miles to fetch water. Kuran's story became a symbol of hope for other villages. Today, 25 percolation wells constructed by the Adani Foundation in Mundra benefit 6,500 villagers, while drip irrigation supports nearly 1,300 farmers. These initiatives have not just brought about a positive change in over 191,163 lives, but have also helped in reducing the TDS, that is total dissolved solids in water, by around 19.6%. The Adani Foundation continues to value and conserve India's limited water resources with techniques that are affordable and easy to execute. The foundation, till date, has increased water storage capacity to nearly 15 billion litres. And to give you an idea of the scale, 15 billion litres is sufficient to meet drinking water requirements of Mumbai city for 6 months.